So far in this lesson, we've covered how to make 3D geometry using parametrically driven sketches. Another powerful toolset in Fusion 360 is the ability to use free-form modeling driven by T-splines technology. In this example, we're going to use push-pull gestures to form a body into a complex organic shape. We will start our design of a utility knife by inserting an image as a reference. While inserting the image, we can rotate the image and change the opacity so that we can see the design as we make changes. I'll also turn the display through option on so that we can see the image better. And don't worry about this step if you choose to follow along. I've completed this already for you in the practice file. I want this utility knife to be around 180 millimeters long. So let's use the calibrate tool to aid us in resizing the image to a more appropriate size. Now let's jump to the Sculpt workspace by selecting the Create Form icon. Notice that the toolbars change and give us tools to help us sculpt our design into an organic shape. Let's start by using a box primitive. We'll start by clicking the origin, then moving the rectangle to a point that is approximately the size of the knife image. Using the dialog, we can change some of the parameters to be more precise. Now I'm going to change the length, width, and height fields. Next, I want to add more faces to this body. We want to add more faces to the areas that will be more complex in shape. I can use these sliders to add or remove faces, but notice that it's being done to the entire body in a particular direction. Finally, I'll change the direction to symmetric so that the image goes through the middle of the sculpted body. This knife will be symmetric about the length of the model. So let's turn on symmetry by selecting the two faces on both sides of the plane that I want to use. Fusion 360 will find a symmetric plane and illustrate the symmetry with a green line. Now it's time to start sculpting our shape. Let's right-click and select Edit Form. While in this command, we can select faces, edges, or vertices. When we have an entity selected, we can sculpt the body using the triad. The arrows are used to move in a single direction, whereas the planes can be used to move along a selected plane. Rotation rings can be used to rotate a face. Multiple faces can be selected by either box selecting, which is a left click and drag to make a box, or hold the Control key in Windows or the Command key in Mac to select multiple objects. In areas of higher detail, we can insert edges by selecting an edge, right-click to invoke the Insert Edge command. The slider is used to locate the edge. Notice once the edge is created, it only affected this face, creating what's called a T-point. A best practice with freeform modeling is to start with a coarse mesh and add edges only where higher detail is needed in the design. Another command that we can use to add more detail to this mesh is the Insert Point command. With this command, we can select 2 points on a face where an edge will be added. And just as before, we will use this to edit the form and sculpt our body. Now that we're done sculpting our body, we can select the Finish Form icon. This will throw us back into the Model workspace where we can start to add parametric features like holes and ribs and mounting holes to this solid body. Well, congratulations on making your first part from a sketch and yet another through freeform modeling. As you become more skilled with Fusion 360, you'll use both modeling techniques, often on the same part. Now don't worry, there are dozens of additional tutorials for you to fine-tune your ninja modeling skills with Fusion 360. I look forward to visiting the community and seeing what you guys contribute.